one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
What's up, everybody? Here back at Discover Crypto. We're seeing some moon math happening on the charts as we speak. With the that's the wrong direction on that arrow. We are going just like this. Is this the move? Going into the end of September, the end of downtember, coming into what everybody's been expecting, October, Pumptober, into just Moonvember, into November and beyond. What are we seeing today? Because we're on the edge of a potential government shutdown, which is looking more and more likely. But we're also seeing just overwhelming bullishness coming into these charts and what we talked about when that fear finally hits. But are we at the place right now in the market where we can expect for the price action to have the continuation to the upside? As every single one of you roll in right now, let's get engaged. I want to hear, it's not morning. I usually do morning streams. It's weird transitioning to the afternoon. I'm transitioning to the afternoon. But make sure you get engaged. I'd love you to say good afternoon or GA, and then what's the last thing that you bought or sold? And say, so GA, I did AV&T this morning. So GA, AV&T, buy. And so I'm just curious to see what you guys are buying or selling. Maybe you're completely exiting your positions because we had a couple red candles on the charts and it's scary. But we do not fall victim to emotions on this channel. In the Disco fam, we talk about the data and the setups that are brewing to make sure that we can stay on the right side of the trade. So shout out to everybody. Let's see, Andy says AVAX. Shout out to AVAX. AVAX has been making some moves. Pump Fun here says onward. Shout out to you. Holding ETH from 1200. That's quite a move. Big love to you, my friend. GA, Aster, ETH, Pump Fun. Okay, we got a lot of Pump Fun. Shout out to the Pump Fun community. We are live there as well. Also got some AV&T. I shared that trade, that spot buy in the Discord this morning when I got it around $1.07 or $1.08, something like that. And it's massive move up from then. Sui, shout out to you, Hadari. Big love to you. Thank you for being here. I got into ETH at 1580. Hey, my first buy on ETH was about 31 bucks. So I have since sold that ETH, but into other things that I've turned a lot of very big profits on. So it's all about navigating the different moves in this market, right? It's not about just buying stuff because you're excited or selling because you're scared. It's about seeing when other people are excited and where other people are scared. And the caveat with that is not just the market in general. The caveat is when is smart money excited, meaning you see them buying. It tends to be near bottoms or setups before higher. When is retail buying? When they're getting excited because the price is moving up. So you can see these interactions in the on-chain data. You can see it in what's happening in the behavior of different asset classes or different assets, different niches, but also the different types of wallets, because you can see on-chain every wallet with X amount, whether it's small, whether it's large, whether it's young, meaning it's very new coins, meaning they were just traded, or coins that have been held for a long time. And you can see the behavior in these wallets and what we've seen coming into where we're at right now, large in part from January of 2023 to where we're at right now, is an absolute parabolic move in the increase in basically absolute stackingness in those strong-handed holders, the smart money buys. And so when we're looking at the price action today and we see this green candle, I want you to notice something. As exciting as this is, I want to dispel this. And I don't mean to burst your bubble here on the bullishness, but this is a 3-minute chart. This should not get you excited unless you are scalp trading. Now, this is exciting on a day coming into, the very last day of September that we're getting some upside price action, but let's zoom out just a little bit and look at where we're at. Okay, that still looks good. Break down into a W formation, move back up. But what are we noticing about this? at first glance. A lot of volume here. And on this volume so far, this particular candle, we can see this. Let me just zoom in here so you can see it clearer. This particular candle, even with all that volume, an astronomically larger amount of volume came in here respective to the candles before it. Even more volume than we saw in the candles here that pushed this all the way up to this level. With this amount of volume, this price could not get above this level. Does that mean it's the end? No, it does not. It means we got more setting up to do that we can take advantage of so that we can ride into the sunset of pump timber into Moonvember, which is what we're seeing is very likely in the price action. So let's start with some of the data here. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Why would we not dump if government shutting down? Well, I'm going to get to that here in a bit. We have a video coming out this evening. DZ is doing a video on the government shutdown. It's not as bearish as you think. Now, on the one hand, for what it means for public services and the military and federal workers, yeah, their pay is getting set. That sucks. That's terrible. That should not happen. When we're looking in the markets and we're trying to figure out where we're going to move our money, why we're going to move it, what our outlook is, whether it's today, tomorrow, this week, this month, this quarter, this year, or beyond, you want to make sure you're looking at it from that sort of not moralistic point of view, but how do I anticipate the other market participants are going to interact with this market? So considering past government shutdowns and how the markets performed in those will give us a clue also about what may be coming here tonight into the next few days, 10, 15, 20 days. We'll have to see how this all plays out. But then we cannot ignore the overwhelming stacking of bullish considerations, not even considerations, fundamental and foundational changes surrounding the context of Bitcoin and altcoins on the world stage, especially on a day like today, second day of CBOS. Basically the world banking cartel out there talking with Swift and Chainlink and DTCC and some of the banking elite talking about deploying blockchains, talking about cross-border settlement, through digital assets, using smart contracts. Guys, the stage that we're in right now, it overwhelms me that people are frustrated that the price isn't running away. The stage that we're sitting in right now in the market is screaming patience and you'll get profits. It's just all a matter of will you be here and are you stacking in times when everybody else is scared? Are you hodling through the chop where everybody's emotions are getting mixed up? Because when we get back into this, let's go through this because I got quite a bit I want to cover today. It's amazing, bro. That's right, Longfeller. Shout out to you. No dumping when we already in dumps. Hey, we have been having a little bit of a pullback, but I wouldn't really call it a dump. So when we're looking at this today, 24 hours, everything's fairly flat. Okay, 0.04, 0.8 low. It's around that 0.1, 2% here in the top 10. But looking at the last 7 days, we are seeing a little bit of movement back and forth as well. But let's get into what I specifically want to talk about today. We're going to get back into look at some TA on Bitcoin. We're going to look at TA on some other things like Ethereum, AVNT, Avantis, setting up. This is where I got in, triggered that signal, in the Discord for the Discord fam. But we got other things too, like Aerodrome might be setting up for a move. Morpho, big news on Morpho today that came out. Eigen not responding to that massive news that we highlighted the other day. Is this bad? Does this mean it's over for Eigen, or is this setting up back down, which is almost exactly what I said 3-4 days ago when I talked about, okay, we got the move up, super bullish news. This might test, this might trap people before it comes back and makes the move. And look exactly what's happening. We got the move up. Okay, retested, it's going to go. Now trap, now we move up. So we got the double trap, which happens over and over and over in this market. Once you see this and you understand it, you're gonna start recognizing it everywhere in the markets. Now, considering the price action, why is it the market moving? One of the reasons the market feels like that is this chart right here. We have been 131 days around this $112,000 region. Look at this, rejection here, rejection under it. Oh, we sliced right through, found support on it, broke down below it, rejection, broke back through it, found support, broke right through. We're just hovering around this. This is a liquidity zone that is obvious for those of you that are paying attention because we're seeing the liquidity stacking up in even ways, in different amounts, where we get this huge amount of liquidity above us from people shorting. The price goes up and scoops it up. because people cannot believe it's going to go higher. So they short. Well, you're also giving the incentive for the price to go up into that liquidity zone for you to give your money away. And then people go, oh, then you start dipping and people start longing the market because that must be the bottom. This is the buy. And so the market scoops that and goes further down. And it's been doing this around the zone, transferring so much money from weak retail hands. And even some of the big players out there. Kevin C says, Kelly is that dude. Thank you, sir. Shout out to you. I appreciate the $5 super chat. You are that dude. Everybody else in here, you are that dude too. We can all be that dude or that dudette, whatever floats your bubble there. But we are seeing the market frustrate people because this has been in a massive accumulation in the setting the stage for the price action that the demand is going to overwhelm what's happening in the exchanges, the supply that is there. So why don't we see Josh anymore? Is he just busy with the other projects? Josh is our guy. Josh is in the Discord all the time. He's been doing some traveling. He's been doing some other stuff. He was also just out at the Charlie Kirk thing, doing some political stuff. He's also building a couple other projects that, kind of like brother, sister projects to the brand. So he'll still be popping on here time to time. But we got our hands in a lot of different stuff. And hopefully you can deal with me and you can deal with DZ and you can deal with Drew. And also, I mean, he's in the Discord on a daily basis and they're sharing charts and trades and live streams in there as well. But let's keep on moving. 131 days sideways while the altcoins also had their run up. Remember March of last year, sell off, another run up. It's going to be alt season into December of this, the end of last year, and then the sell off at the beginning of this year. And then this whole year has just been this frustrating, what feels like it's over because we're at the end of the 4-year cycle. The 4-year cycle is dead. Understand that. Will we have price action pullback at some point this year that everybody's going to say, yes, see, the 4-year cycle is real, and then trap people to the downside before it just continues to moon back to the upside? I do think that's going to happen either later this year or sometime, first quarter of next year. So let's pay attention because I think we've got so much room to grow, and I'm going to show you why. First off, there's panic. Warning suddenly puts Bitcoin on the brink of a massive price shock. Why is it price moving? At the same time, from Forbes, we see, some foresee a bear market, but this is Samson Mao here, brilliant guy in the Bitcoin ecosystem, argues the cycle is merely delayed or it's just taking longer because there's bigger players involved as well. And will also be triggered further by nation state FOMO, which we're starting to see the little breadcrumbs, the little foundational pieces to pave that path towards to nation state adoption. We're seeing different nations mine Bitcoin. We're seeing different nations stack Bitcoin. We're seeing multiple nations, regularly meeting with people like Samson Mao. For those of you that don't know who this person is, make sure you go and follow Excelion. They go and meet specifically. What's up? Yeah, this is your last day? Oh, hold on. I got to give Isaac a hug, man. Hey, brother.
Love you, bro.
Love you too.
Appreciate you, bro.
When are you leaving?
4th. I'll be around.
I hope to see you before then. Give him salutes. Be smart. Yeah.
Love you, man.
Big love to you, brother. Isaac is leaving for the M. Terry here in a week or two. I think this was his last day, so I had to give him the hug and the handshake. You got to show the people in your life love. Tell them you love them. Tell them you appreciate them. So make sure to do that. Even if you're a man, you can hug somebody. You can give a high five. You can give them a handshake. You don't need to be on the other side of the room. Hey, cool, bro. No, let's connect with people, man. So now back to what I was saying. Samson Mao is out there, and with Gen 3, they are, you add them back, all these like major players in the space. They're out there speaking with leaders of nations, leader of government financial positions in parliament, figuring out, helping pave the path for how different nations or major corporations can get involved and integrated with Bitcoin in their ecosystem in some way, whether it's a strategic Bitcoin reserve, whether it's mining. There's so many different aspects. So he does a hell of a job with what he does, and he's talking about this. He really thinks that this is coming very soon. So Deutsche Bank also just predicts that the Fed will put Bitcoin on equal footing with gold by 2030. That is a massive shift from where we were in the discourse banks had around Bitcoin even 2 years ago. So shout out to, this is bigger than most people realize it is. So are we on the cusp? Yes. Can we stay on the cusp for the next 4 months? 8 months? Yes. You all need to realize, as bullish as I am, and as much as I want the market to just go moonshot from where it is right now, and I do think it's very likely we're going to get a very strong bullish press up into the end of this year, we can have an extension of this type of chop sideways for longer than most people realize, especially considering $100,000 Bitcoin is a monumental feat for an asset that has had the entire world elite, especially global financial structure and governments, with the foot on the throat of Bitcoin and thus also the digital asset ecosystem up until this year. It's right now where institutions are getting in. It's right now where big money players, and I'm talking people that started small back in 2010, 2011, 2013, we're seeing a lot of rotation. Where do you think these OTC deals are coming from? What are you talking about? What's this acronym? Over the counter. When you see Michael Saylor buying and you see other major institutional buys that are coming in, they're not all going into Coinbase and saying, buy this amount, limit order, market order. But no, the majority of those massive bulk orders that are getting bought, they're organized through major Bitcoin holders that have been holding for a long time. They're like, yeah, I can sell off a batch of 1,000 Bitcoin to you. We're seeing a rotation in some, not all, some of the legacy Bitcoin OGs sort of funding this OTC round, delevering their positions in Bitcoin, getting cash, and also not affecting the upswing, the demand price in the market. That's why you're not seeing $5 billion Bitcoin buys affect the Bitcoin price immediately going up on market buys, because that's large in part not really happening. So can this be extended? It sure can. So let's just hold on and realize that in this moment right now, I think we're going to get a pump in October. I think we're going to pump into November. I think we'll get a little bit of a sell-off in December where people really think the 4-year cycle is over. But all this is part of normal bull market behavior until we break really, I would say down, depending on the price level we're breaking down from. But until we start breaking down beyond key levels, setting, a consecutive lower low followed by lower high, we are in a bull trend. We are going to have accumulation periods like this more often now that the big money players are here. And when you realize this, and you also realize one of the biggest banks in the world saying that the Fed's going to put Bitcoin on equal footing with gold, we are not bullish enough. And then you look at ETFs and realize, look at this. Do you guys realize in a year and a half that BlackRock has 768,000 Bitcoin? Fidelity has 203,000 Bitcoin. Grayscale, 176,000. It just goes down, but major levels here. 1.3 million Bitcoin have been scooped up through ETFs in the last year and a half. This is phenomenal. Phenomenal when you consider there's a lot of major players that are buying this. It's not just retail mom and pop that are out there buying ETF, which those are included as well, but you're getting major corporate interest and institutional interest as well in here. It's just stacking the living heck out of Bitcoin through ETFs, let alone the other corporate treasuries that are stacking up as well. So let's keep our mind, let's realize where we're at, because then we also got the other half of the ecosystem. We've got the RWA ecosystem, smart contract ecosystem, the tokenization of assets, everything that's going on with stablecoins that is basically being highlighted on the global financial stage as we speak at CBOS. With SWIFT, the largest global payments network, DTCC, they do like $3 or $4 quadrillion in process settlement a year for stock exchange. And currently the total RWA on chain is 31 billion, but let's ignore that number. Let's ignore that. Let's look at where we were 3 years ago. RWAs, look at this. It's there we go. Back here, January 2023, RWAs. I don't want to do that. I want to go to our total RWA. Where is it at? Stablecoin. Let's do stablecoins. Stablecoins, the growth in stablecoins, phenomenal growth. You come back, where is the RWA thing? Am I not seeing it? Is my brain broken? I think it is. But I mean, just even back here, we're seeing it's just insane. 5 billion all the way up here, over here. 31 billion. The growth is insane. And this right here. This is the start of where things are going. This was okay, getting the footing, starting, okay, you got the very edge, tech-focused people getting involved. This is where the world started finding out, right? Really on this boom shelf right here. And what do you notice? Where do you notice that data is? Right at or around this year when the administration changed. Funny how an empowering administration can supercharge an industry. And what we're going to see come from this is something we do not comprehend. Because when you're thinking about NVIDIA, when you're thinking about Facebook or Meta, when you're thinking about, Eli Lilly, name a stock, it doesn't matter the stock, JP Morgan, those are all different components of different niches within the investment ecosystem. Bitcoin and blockchain, digital assets, everything that we're seeing between Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, all the major players, all these major players, when you're looking at how the future is looking to interact. And it's not just individuals. It's not just I'm buying this crypto because I want to make some money. Understand the context of what this ecosystem really means. It is repiping the entire world. It's updating the entire world on the standards of best practices, best efficiency, transparency, trustlessness. But trustlessness is scary. No, it's not. Having to trust a stranger and having to cut off dollars for every single thing I do to pay for a trusted third party and fourth party and fifth party to audit every single thing we do because we can't trust each other. Blockchain is about trustlessness, meaning it's all programmed in so you don't have to trust a damn individual. The entire global commerce structure, economies, governments, people, trade, it's all moving to the blockchain. So while there's stocks in different sectors and some that kind of straddle some sectors, the blockchain ecosystem is going to be the foundation for even everything that is now being upgraded onto the blockchain, let alone all the new things that are coming. So this is why it's so important. We are right now on this cusp, and we're coming in the last day of September, going into October, historically the second best month, and then November the best month for Bitcoin and crypto assets. So let's keep up with this, because then we see USDT, Tether, usage on Ethereum hits record $532 billion in monthly volume. And you're telling me it's still nothing? What are you talking about? Excuse me. Ethereum's network stablecoin activity just hit an all-time high, 532 billion transfer volume and 11.2 million transfers in a single month. The surge highlights Ethereum's dominance as the settlement layer for stablecoins. So it makes sense when you realize how much volume is happening in Ethereum. And yes, Bitcoin is the penultimate number one. It should be everybody's focus, but you cannot ignore that the world economies and trade are all going to be built using these. So I am a Bitcoin maxi, but also as a tradability aspect, an early adopter VC sort of mind, looking to Ethereum, looking to, yes, XRP, even though I hate it. I don't really hate XRP. I just think the community, they get so fired up and they argue with wrong information. So I think XRP is still going to do fine, but BNB, I think this overwhelmingly should take over XRP. Solana, of course, what they're doing and the partnerships and the growth that they're seeing and the development that they've seen and the RWA scene, the meme coin scene, whether you like meme coins, that really showed a massive proof of concept of these massive batches of really high throughput and stress testing when different things launch, like the Trump meme coin. Then you see Dogecoin, of course, Tron, Cardano, whether you like Tron or not, massive in the eastern part of the world. Then you see Athena, in that World Liberty Finance portfolio. Chainlink, it's going to be linking everything, traditional finance and crypto finance, and things that have nothing to do with finance. Interoperability between chains. Avalanche, of course, Stellars. There's so many good projects here. Sometimes, throw one in chat if you agree with this. Sometimes you think you got your portfolio set, and then you find out about a project or research a little bit. You're like, man, but I want that too. That's a problem for everybody, but it also comes down to the same thing like dating and marriage and all these things. There's always going to be other. Figure out what ticks the most things in your box and commit to it. And if it changes, within the scope of what your parameters are for what you're expecting, not the performance, but what you're expecting the outcome to be with that asset, whether you're investing or trading, then you cut your losses and find something that has stronger fundamentals, stronger indication of better growth. But don't do that every day or every week throughout the cycle, because you're just going to be jumping between moving cars. I just wanted to highlight that really quick. Why is the market ripping so hard right now? No government shutdown. I was asking that earlier. We were seeing, just the setup was there before that. So I want walrus, says Big Tip Shark. I don't know what I know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Flat smack with the lab coats. Big love to you. Shout out to the Bit Lab family. I'm going to be getting back to doing some midday shows, midday morning shows on BitLab as well, not just this dual stream on Discover and BitLab, but I'll still be doing the 4 p.m. here, but I want to get back to doing stuff for the members there over on BitLab. So shout out to that family over there. We got 1,959 people here. So let's get into the rest of the alpha I got, because I got some juice, guys. I got some juice. 8 p.m. tonight, that $1.6 billion in stable coins is going to creditors. Be interesting to see if that is an immediate impact or if this is going to be something over the next couple of days. But I do expect a good percentage, not the full amount, but a good, respectable, percentage of this getting redeployed back into crypto. So something to watch out for. And then everybody's worried about the government shutdown. I want to highlight this. This is a tweet that I did this morning. By the way, make sure you're following me right here at Kelly Kellam, Kelly. Kellam. There's no dot. There's no LMAN. It's not Kelman. It's not Kelham. It's not Kelly Kellam 1. Do I sound like I'm belaboring the point? It's because every day I find out about 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 other fake accounts that are copying my profile and trying to scam people. Make sure you're following the correct person here. This is the one. I shared this morning, and we're talking about the government shutdown. What is happening today? Potential government shutdown. Did the market end when it's happened before? It happened 76, 77, 78, 79, 81, 82, 83, 84, 84, 86, 87, 90, 95, 95, 30. What do you recognize on what's happening in the stock market? You saw the government shutdowns. You saw all those government shutdowns. Let's go back. Let's go the monthly. Okay, this is going back to 1949. Has the market done anything except for go up and to the right? No. It's gone up and to the right. Yet you get in here on these moments like this with an 8-hour chart, and I have friends, they forget this is what I do for a living. They're like, God, Trump sucks. Trump is so sweet. He crashed the economy. And then they forget, oh my God, every time we have these sell-offs in the market, these tend to be overwhelmingly incredible buying opportunities that just provide amazing opportunity. And if you're not buying and selling, you're just stacking along the way. It doesn't matter. If you've been stacking for months and months and months or years into this and you have a sell-off and you're still stacking along the way, this still rebounds higher. So what we saw back here with the, oh my God, this turned into an incredible buying opportunity. And none of these were really as a result of the government shutdown. Okay. And I asked Grok to break it down for me. And I said, what's the lead up? Does the market crash or go up or down? What is the general price action on the S&P 500? And this is the reason why I did this is because it's over a larger period of time. So I didn't ask specifically about Bitcoin because this is going to give us that metric on risk assets. And DZ is going to cover a bit more about this evening, but basically 0%, meaning there's very minimal movements on this, whether up or down around the shutdown. And then during the shutdown, well, mixed results could be down 4%. 1979 is when that happened. That was a 12-day shutdown, plus 10%. In 2018, it was up. So the losses are modest and short-lived, okay? And then following, 60% of the time, it's up to the upside within a month. I mean, quick recovery typical aligns with 2.6% average at 3 months and strong longer-term gains. Now, remember, we're talking about S&P 500, so 2.6% is nothing to sneeze at on the S&P 500. That would result in much larger gains within Bitcoin and the crypto ecosystem. But the point here is, I think this is a non-story as we're talking about risk assets. What's something more important is, one, we're seeing the scenario in this emerging asset class get stronger. The SEC, the wording here is very important. The SEC, not a crypto is asking the SEC. The SEC is strongly pushing crypto to allow stocks to trade on chain like Bitcoin and crypto. Guys, the world is here at our doorstep. The time right now is to stack and to hold and chill out. Because while this is good, we still have some FUD out there. We still have some worry. One of those things we're going to get to in a second. But Michael Saylor, before we get to that other story, the FUD thing, Michael Saylor says strategy's end game is to accumulate $8 trillion in Bitcoin. He's not stopping. He's stacking every step of the way. They're up to 640,000 Bitcoin now, guys. And then we get into the FUD. This is a little bit, I mean, you need to be aware of this because this does explain some of the risk-off patience in the market. Well, let's see what it says. 2-year and 10-year Japanese yield. Blah. Nobody knows what this means, right? Japanese yields, why does this matter? When you look back at Bitcoin, if you look back in August of last year, I'm going to show you something. August of last year, which was right here, boom. This was that sell-off. You see this massive sell-off? Massive. Oh, okay. Well, what was that? I have it marked out somewhere. That was the Japanese yen carry trade fiasco. Rates changed. It wasn't 0% free money anymore for lending. And you had the market, boom, sell off. So Japan is a powerhouse in the world economy in comparison to the majority of other countries. Of course, Bitcoin top, I think it's China, and then Japan and Europe are well up there. Very, very important. Very important. So this resulted, the Japanese yen carry trade resulted in a 30% dip. So there is some signs to be concerned. And so when we're looking at this, and, you know, this comes as Japan's auction of 2-year government bonds drew the weakest demand ever. So what does this mean? Well, you know, I throw it into Grok. I threw it into Grok. I asked it basically exactly that. Boom. What does this mean? And it breaks it all down. And then I got to the bottom line. This event tilts the risk assets outlook to cautious or negative near term. So some of that sort of not huge exuberance to just throw it into markets. Even though we're so bullish, big money out there is seeing this and going, okay, we're going to be aggressive, but some caution. And then it also suggests that they're favoring defensives like value stocks and gold. What have we seen gold do? So there are some caveats within this that talks about the things that can buoy it. But while things are so bullish in terms of the bull trend that we're in terms of the Fed rate cut cycle, in terms of money printing that's likely coming, there are things in the financial landscape that are giving some caution within the bullishness. So this makes it a little bit more understandable. But even in the face of that, look at this. All these stocks hit 52-week highs. Kelly, why aren't we talking about crypto? All of these things impact, even your meme coins, the risk narrative in the market. So while some people are scared because of the Japanese yen carry trade fiasco, oh my God, you still see today 52-week highs, all these stocks. NVIDIA just broke $4.5 trillion market cap. First company ever to do it. And all, I mean, look, I mean, just massive, massive. There's bullishness in this market. And then you ask, let's get into the crypto stuff. Let's get into the TA. Let's get into the data. Let's talk about it. The Bitcoin everything indicator is at multi-year range lows. So this is 2021 tops, 2021 top. Late 2020, this is early 2021 right in here. But what we're looking at is the yellow line here. What do we see? The low here, the low here, the low here, all in these same regions. The low here, look at that corresponded before the boom. The low here, look, that corresponded before the start of the bull market. Look at where we're at right now. In my opinion, and you've got to do what you're going to do, it is figure out any way you could stack as much as possible season. So much so, let me pull this up, and I've shown this before, Bitcoin Magazine Pro, yeah. Right here, come over here, Bitcoin charts. This still blows my mind. This blows my mind. It really, really does. Now, could it be wrong? Sure. Do I think it is? No, because I'm very much in line with what this chart, what this graphic shows right here. Okay, let's just zoom in on this. I just want to zoom in. When this level, this yellow level, I want you not to be able to see the rest. You're going to be able to see it in a second. When this is down in here, this is suggesting that it's entering a very good buy opportunity because the reward is much higher than the risk. And it has to do with what's happening with the HODL bank and what's happening with long-term holders versus, the new stuff. You can see it right here. It's showing our older coins being sold, his relationship to the value coin days adjusted. There's a lot that's calculating this, but these areas, when this metric gets down to these green zones, it tends to be entering a very good DCA. You can still stack because there's a lot of upside. I want you to notice something. We got it right here. You can just tell when this is not the price, by the way. This is a reserve risk line, but you could tell right here, this was right about when. This was right about when we had that sell-off in price action at the end of the 2018 into 2019. Boom, it fell from 10,000 down to 3,500. Boom. Look, that's where you got the good buy opportunity. Yet again, right here into the COVID crash. Great buy opportunity all the way through here. Do you notice this market cycle from the FTX collapse back here, November, December 2022? This entire time, all the way up from $15,500 up to $124,600, we have been in the asymmetric buy opportunity zone. The dynamic, the growing awareness of people understanding the value of Bitcoin and what is ahead on the landscape and digital assets is basically setting up a stronger case for extended cycles, a stronger case that we're nowhere near a top because we haven't even broken out of it's still a extraordinary buying opportunity zone before we get the big move up. In fact, this cycle back here looks a bit muted because we never even got up in here. And it makes sense when you look at the data, when you remember the news cycles, everything that was happening around this time, this was a bit of a muted cycle. In this case, now we have a longer cycle, and I think we got a lot more to come. I'm watching for what happens once this actually really starts to break out. But let's get on with it because we got some other things I want to highlight here. So we got this basically setting up where we got very, very strong bounce zones. And then we got the alt market as well. The alt season is starting. And remember, just highlighting really quick, I've shared this before as well. I just want you all to remember these things. Remember October and November. And what is that? We are just right now getting out here. Let's go to the weekly chart. This is what the price action did. This is everything outside of the top 10 into a sort of consolidated triangle, break up, break down, break up, wash out, launch. Okay. Consolidated sort of triangle, break up, break down, break up, break down. Somewhere in here, somewhere very soon. I do think we're about to get that launch sequence initiated. So let's see where we're at on that. We're seeing the Google searches for this heat up. We're seeing legislation support. We're seeing capital feeling like it's just pouring, ready to get deployed with all the dry powder on the sidelines with stable coins just printing on a daily basis. And then you see this. I talked about the unhealthiness in the market lately with everybody going over leverage. Well, $2 billion in altcoin open interest has been wiped out today, not over the last week, today. This was the largest built up. This was the leverage built up after last week's dip, and it's now gone. As I said before, until strong spot demand comes, this flush will continue to happen. And the flush is both up and down. So let's be a bit patient here. Let's do some spot buying. If you're going to leverage trade, do it. Smaller time frames, get in. We're going to be showing you guys the breakout prop, which I really recommend, especially for newer traders or big traders that trade all the time that want a safer place to trade where you also have some parameters around it. It gets you a huge amount of exposure to capital at a very small risk amount. So that's one of the things that we're really going to be highlighting here in the very near future. But this is October. October could be huge, not just because we're hoping it's so. We also have all the crypto ETFs, 16 applications, including Sol, Mini for Sol, Mini for XRP, Litecoin, Doge. And remember, it's not just about the ETFs. It's not the ETFs are going to make the altcoins pump. This is also major in terms of the global financial landscape, especially in the US, when you're starting to see ETFs get approved. in different sectors. I think index ETFs for altcoins is going to be major. And just the awareness that brings to the traditional finance landscape. And also people out there that they think getting into crypto is so different than stocks. And in some ways it is. In some ways it's the same thing. It's just a different app in terms of trading and interacting. If you're on Coinbase, it's not really any that damn different than being on eToro or E-Trade. Sometimes it's just there's people that are fixed in the processes that they have. So as ETFs come out and become available, and they feel that the mom and pop, the traditional finance retail market, and even some big players, they feel more comfortable in an ecosystem that they've already been in. So I do think we're going to see some capital from that, but I also think we're going to see some sell-offs when some of these ETFs get approved, because that's what we've seen historically. Don't believe me? I highlighted this the other day, and that is when we get over here and look, where's it at? Right here. This is when the ETF, this is a run up to the ETF right here. Run up. Oh my God, we're getting an ETF. Oh, ETF's approved. It's live. Boom, drop 21%. So be prepared for that. And some of these assets that you've been waiting all this time for an ETF, that means the market's going to boom. Well, watch for a sell-off if it happens, because it could be a good buying opportunity. Just wanted to highlight that. October, Ethereum is going to be the gateway for all these alts, guys. Ethereum needs to break above the 21 and 55-day EMAs. And this is what it's looking like right now. It's literally sitting on the doorway to the downside and trying to break through the gateway to the upside. If it breaks through these moving averages, I think it's going to be pretty quick that we break out of this bull flag and see that next continuation of the upside. The big hurdle is going to be $4,000. It's been a major level for Ethereum. Of course, we've got all, sorry, not $4,000, $5,000 is what I mean. I'm sorry. We're sitting on that cusp of $4,000 right now that we are just fighting rejection, now trying to flip $4,000 into support and actually break out of the zone. This will signal massive confidence, a lot of capital flowing into the altcoin ecosystem. So let's pay attention to that. And then Morpho, guys. Morpho, I posted this earlier. I see massive opportunity for Morpho. Coinbase posting about it. See below. These incredible buy-ups don't always present. So obviously, take advantage of it when it happens. Why did I post this? Because I saw this news article from Coinbase. Coinbase posted this. 0 to $1 billion challenge completed. $1 billion on chain. Look at that. This is powered by Morpho. $1 billion of on-chain loans have been generated through Coinbase using Bitcoin as collateral, powered by Morpho Labs. And yet you saw the price action pulling back from what we saw a few days ago, guys. And this is, base ecosystem, Morpho, Coinbase Ventures. I mean, I hope you guys are paying attention. And then, of course, Chainlink is just nonstop in the news with the developments they're doing. We talked about the 24 different major global financial institutions that they partner with. But then also today, UBS, one of the largest private banks with over $6 trillion in assets under management, is the first to use Chainlink's landmark solution for financial institutions to manage digital asset workflows using the CRE, the Chainlink runtime environment, Swift community messaging, and the new Chainlink DTA technical standard. So we're seeing so much movement and power in the partnerships, in the integrations, in the workflow integrations that Chainlink is doing with the world elite of the financial institutions. Whether you like the banks or not, massive amount of flow and transaction and volume and use case comes with that. So big win for Chainlink on that, second day of CBOS. But then we got some of these other plays out there, guys. The CEX-backed and DEX meta is about to get crazy in October. We saw what happened to Hyperliquid. We saw what happened with Aster. And then we got AV&T. I posted it in the Discord this morning. I purchased the dip, 61% dip on AV&T from its high. And then you're starting to see a lot of other media about it. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. I'm just looking at what's going on there. I'm letting you know, and I also let the Discord know that I bought. And this is not a trade for me. I'm going to be holding this for some time. Backed by Peter Thiel, backed by Coinbase, largest base DEX. Remember that Coinbase is really supporting and propping up, news and information and putting dollars in the base ecosystem. Essentially, the Hyperliquid of base. Then, of course, we got Aster. And now remember, this is at about under $500 million. Aster, $3.1 billion. Remember how quick that moved? Remember how quick that moved from like 15 cents up to 230 or something like that? Apex, also one of these things on, this has been around a little bit longer. But it's backed by Bybit, second largest CEX, right? And they're doing buybacks. Then you got Stable, Wintermute, one of the major players in the crypto ecosystem, just bought $3 million worth. So just pay attention. This is some of those things that gives you an idea of what to pay attention to, or just have it on a watch list. Look at charts, look for setups for good buying opportunities if you're interested in them for your strategy. And then you got, these were the most searched coins on Crypto Rank last week, plus their market caps. This type of data helps get things on your radar. What are other people paying attention to? Where has a lot of mind share? What do the charts and what do the fundamentals look like for those projects? Do not look at a post like this and go, oh, I'm going to buy that, buy that, buy. No, use this as a framework to then start your own research on each one of these projects. And then if they fit your criteria, then you get involved. Far too many people in crypto YouTube, crypto Twitter, crypto online, they're looking for a data handout from somebody else. They act on it, and then they're mad when it doesn't go their way. The problem with that is if you buy when somebody else tells you to buy, you're not sure. You have no idea when they're selling. So when the market dumps on that asset and you wonder what the hell, they might have already taken profits out at the top. Now, thank God I'm with a crew here, Discover Crypto, with our family, our team, Disco. We got the whole Discord. We got the crew also with what we talk about here on the live on air. We are not pumping and dumping. We're letting you know what we're buying, why we're buying it, where, how it fits into our own portfolios, and what our time frames are. Guys, let's all do our own research. Let's take YouTube, let's take Twitter, let's take whatever media sources and use those as ingredients to bolster what your diligence is. But stuff like this gives me an idea of things to look at. Like Hemi was not on my radar at all. Avantis wasn't on my radar until very recently. But then I looked at the price. You look at AVNT. Where is that at? Right here. We saw what Aster did. Well, here's AVNT, but let's go down to the 1 hour chart. What do we see? The nice move up, the breakdown here. And that breakdown is no small breakdown. Look at that. That is a 61% breakdown. Now, at the same time, we also have a trend line that comes across. One there. Oops. Let me move this up just a touch. One there. Yes, we broke down. But then you also have a trend line that kind of comes across in a region. It's all of this liquidity zone of where price action is. But then we also see through this price action moving down. What do we see on the money flow? Bullish divergence. This is on the 1 hour chart too. Bullish divergence, money flow. The RSI has been relatively flat here. So let's get down to a little bit smaller time frame. So price action lower, and then what do you see? Very small time frame here, but you saw the bullish divergence forming right there on the RSI, getting very oversold as well. So now this has moved up, and where did this go? It came right up into this previous range low. This might provide another opportunity with a little bit more downside price action. If this does reject, come back. God dang it, right there. If this does reject here, come back down, test somewhere in this region, and then continue up. Just be prepared for that. Morpho. I mean, look at this. Very flat bottom here. Money flow really tried to bring it down, and yet the price action didn't even break below where this level is. So there's a bit of hidden bullish divergence here with these lows to this low, whereas the money flow is way deeper. So there's some a hidden bullish divergence is what that is called. But when we get on the 4 hour, there is weakness here. There is a bit of a kind of head and shoulders-y feel. So we may be getting another bit of a move down on altcoins in general, because when you look at this on right here, where is it's the other chart? Sorry, let's come over here. There we go. We do have a rising wedge here on the others chart. And these do, pretty high hit rate, have a move to the downside. It's my opinion that we're going to see a bit of some traps in the altcoin ecosystem that comes like that before we get a move up. Now, you're going to have to figure out which coin is going to do that, how to what degree. Are you comfortable with that if you're holding it, or are you going to sell and buy and lower? Or are you going to have spot holdings and take a short with very tight leverage and capture some of that movement to the downside, take profits, and then add to a position and move up. There's so many different strategies you can deploy. It's not just buying and selling, or it's not just going 47x leverage on every trade you're doing. There's so many different things that you can do in this market to really take advantage of what's going on. And it all starts with what ETH is doing. I mean, we broke down from this major trend line here, came down, and I talked about this before. I thought this was very likely going to be a bit of a bear trap coming back up. And look at the RSI right now, right back at the 0 line, or basically the 50 line. If this is able to take this out and we see an expansion in money flow, I'm expecting this to make its move. Chainlink, so many good news articles coming out. This feels like it's suppressed. So what if it is? What are you going to do about it? At some point, with all the positivity that's come out about Chainlink and all the integrations, at some point, this is going to have to, something's got to give, right? And so what do we see? Bit of an inverse head and shoulders, but it looks weak. RSI testing right back. Look at this, right at this 50 line, right at it. The RSI tried to go up. It's right at the deciding factor right now. I would expect this to hold this level above 2059. In reality, I think this is going, because this pushed up, and look where it pushed up to. Option H, right to the range lows, right to the range low, right to where all the chop was. I'm expecting this to push back up and test up into this region here in the very near future, and then make its move to the upside. But we're seeing some bullishness, guys. Avalanche made its move. Remember, we're talking about this rounding bottom and made the move out. It's over. All it's done is retested the previous neckline. So this is still quite bullish, but in so doing, also forming a bit of a head and shoulders. They're trying to trap you. They're trying to convince you this is not a bullish move. So this is going to, but I don't buy it. I don't buy it. RSI rejected in that 50 region. So a little caution here in the next couple of days, especially with the choppability from what they can do with everybody scared of the shutdown. If we see dips because of the government shutdown, which proves the need and the necessity for blockchain, I'm buying those dips. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let's not be like the fall of Rome. Let's get into Bitcoin in our home. I don't know where that cheesy rhyme came from, but shout out to the 2,646 people that are here. I love you. Jesse Gulick, how you doing? Big love to you. Crypto Night, Foxhound Tactical, Granny's Garden, Edwin Amarillo, Crypto Night, Peter John Lar. We got the crew here. A big love to all of you. Alexander G, I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you all have a phenomenal day. Hope you find gratitude in your afternoon. Think of something that you don't ever give yourself credit for, that you're happy about, that you're proud of, that you feel lucky. I don't care if it doesn't matter what it is. Be grateful for health, for the family that is there, for the lessons you have learned, for the money you have lost in the market. That should be a lesson. Not that the market was bad, but that you had a shitty strategy in that scenario. So let's be smart. Let's be smart. Let's get active in gratitude, active in forgiveness, and active in taking positive action in crypto and in trading and investing and in our lives. But that's all I got today, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Shout out to our partners, BitcoinIRA.com. Head over there. It's silly for anybody that's thinking about investing and not taking their retirement seriously, especially if you're day trading. You can trade over 80 different altcoins on there and take profits into Bitcoin and not have to pay a tax on it because it's in your retirement. But let them talk to you about it. BitcoinIRA.com. And of course, GetArculus. GetArculus.com. Use code DC20. Best crypto cold storage solution there is. With that, I'll leave you with this message, and I hope you have a phenomenal day. Adios, muchachos. And I'll see you in the next one. Adios, muchachos. Thank you.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.